M. Night Shyamalan returns to the world of Unbreakable with his new film Glass, which brings together the characters of David Dunn, Kevin Wendell Crumb, and Elijah Price. The film mostly takes place in a mental institution where they are all being held and supervised by Dr. Ellie Staple, who's played by Sarah Paulson, who believes that they are all under the delusion of being superheroes. As a fan of Unbreakable, Split, and Shyamalan himself, I was really excited to see this movie. I was mostly excited about being able to see the character of David Dunn and what he's been up to the last 19 years. And in that area, Glass does not disappoint. The first 20 minutes or so of this movie where it shows David Dunn going out on patrol, beating up bad guys, and now running a security store with his now fully grown son, still played by Spencer Treat Clark, who does a really good job in this movie. And his patrols lead him to tracking down the Horde, who is Kevin Wendell Crumb, still played by James McAvoy, who is still absolutely fantastic in this role. James McAvoy is incredible at playing this role. He's so great at being able to switch from personality to personality almost on a dime. Whenever he's on, he absolutely fills up the screen. You cannot stop watching him. That's one of the greatest joys of this movie. That alone is worth watching this movie, is just seeing James McAvoy play this role again. Samuel L. Jackson also returns as Elijah Price, also known as the titular character Mr. Glass. When Samuel L. Jackson does get to fully play Mr. Glass with all of his mental capability and all of his evil mastermind glory, he is fantastic. The way he's able to manipulate certain characters, especially a lot of Kevin's different personalities, it's great. You really get to see that evil mastermind that we saw in Unbreakable. And that's kind of one of the faults of this movie, is that we don't get nearly enough of that. For almost the entire first hour, he's catatonic. He doesn't have much to do except just kind of sit there. He has these little facial tics that he's doing, and you see those eyes, and you know that something's going on behind there, but he's not really doing anything. And I think that's kind of a mistake to take Mr. Glass out of the movie that was named after him. That's just me. Even David Dunn, who, like I said, the first 20 minutes of him going around being what the public is now calling the overseer, is really great. It's really interesting. But after that, he's not given a lot to do. And I think what that ultimately does to the movie is it makes it much more of a sequel to Split than it does to Unbreakable. And the whole reason I was this excited for this movie was because I thought I was going to get a sequel to Unbreakable. And don't get me wrong, I liked Split a lot. I thought it was a really fun movie. Like I said, I think James McAvoy does a great job playing that role. But what got me most excited walking out of the theater was the stinger where David Dunn shows up and effectively made Split a sequel to Unbreakable. And opened up a ton of possibilities, and as someone who loves Unbreakable so much, I was really excited what Shyamalan was going to do with these characters and with this world. And while I loved a lot of the stuff he did, there's a lot of the stuff that I thought was not great. Especially with how the movie ends and where all the characters end up. Overall, I think the third act was really messy and one of the weakest parts of the movie. I thought there was way too much going on. I thought there were way too many reveals that were left for like the last 20-25 minutes that it felt overwhelming to try and watch and piece together everything that was going on and have a true emotional response to it. That being said, I think maybe on rewatch that could be fixed, knowing where everything's going to end up, where everyone's going to be at the end. A rewatch could fix that, but as of right now, walking out of it the first time, I left pretty disappointed. As far as Shyamalan's direction and his writing, there's a lot to like here, but like with the other stuff, there's also some not to like. There's a lot of really cool, interesting camera work. I think the movie looks really great. I think the way that Shyamalan uses color like he did in Unbreakable and Split, where each character has a distinct color that he's given, all the characters associated with them are given that color, like David Dunn is green, Kevin Wendell Crumb is yellow, Mr. Glass is purple. I think the way that it uses color and the different rooms that they're sent to, the clothes they wear, the clothes that characters associated with them wear, I think that's always pretty great. I've always really liked that. Sure, there's some awkward dialogue here and there, but that's expected with Shyamalan. usually I'm able to get past that and get right back into the movie just because it is expected. I think what I liked Glass for most, though, is why I usually like Shyamalan's movies and why I like Shyamalan as a director in general. Is just because it takes a lot of chances. It does a lot of weirder things that not many other movies would do today. That's the thing with Shyamalan's movies. They are usually 100% his movies. It's not a situation like The Predator and Shane Black where you can see the studio's fingerprints all over it and you can see that some outside influence kind of ruined the movie. It's 100% Shyamalan's movie. When he makes a movie, he's swinging for the fences, and he made a lot of big, gutsy swings in this movie. And did all of them hit? I don't think so. But a solid portion of them did, and I appreciate him trying to do weirder, more interesting stuff in a more mainstream movie like this. Glass felt like something different, and I appreciate it for that. And I think Shyamalan will continue to make different, weirder movies that I'm still going to line up for just because I think he's an interesting director with interesting ideas. And I appreciate that Shyamalan takes chances in a world where a lot of filmmakers and studios don't take a lot of chances. Overall, I think I would give Glass a 3 out of 5. While I do think that Unbreakable and Split are better movies, I still do think that there's a lot to like here. I think there's a lot to appreciate here, and I think it's definitely worth a watch. What do you guys think of Glass? I know this is a movie where a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on it. I'd be very interested to hear what everyone thinks of it. If you like this video, I'll probably have some more up in the next week or so. I think I'm probably going to do a top 10 of 2018 and probably the next week or so, so stay tuned for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'll see you next week.